Long before the land itself was ever seen, before its hills were climbed or its rivers crossed, the people wandering the desert carried a promise, a vision of a place unlike any they had known. It was not a promise of gold or conquest or power, but of sustenance, of life in its richest and most enduring forms. The land they were destined for, the Bible tells us, flowed with milk and honey. Not just any land, but the land Canaan, a symbol of home after exile, rest after wandering, fullness after famine. And of all the metaphors that could have been chosen to describe it, honey stood at the center, golden and luminous. To call a land one flowing with milk and honey is to describe not just wealth, but harmony, a place where nature gives freely, where the needs of life are met not through toil and scarcity, but through the effortless generosity of the earth. Milk evokes nurturing, domestic comfort, the gentle hand of sustenance. But honey speaks of sweetness, of wild abundance. It is not a food that must be planted or milked or butchered. It comes from the bees, who turn nectar into treasure with no need for fields or herds. It is nature's gift, gathered from blossoms and stored in hives, ready to nourish both body and spirit. For the Israelites, honey was more than just a flavor. It was a symbol of completeness. It represented a life of stability and joy, a home where sweetness was not rare or reserved for the elite, but part of everyday life. The imagery of honey promised a future not only of survival, but of delight, a life where food was not only fuel, but pleasure. In a time when famine and displacement were familiar threats, the idea of honey, accessible, plentiful, unspoiled, was deeply emotional. It was hope made tangible. Modern science now reveals even more about why this promise carried such weight. Honey is not just metaphorically sweet, it is biologically rich. As a natural food, it offers a remarkable range of nutrients. Simple sugars for quick energy, small but important amounts of vitamins and minerals, and a powerful concentration of antioxidants, particularly flavonoids and phenolic acids. These compounds help fight oxidative stress, reduce inflammation, and support heart and brain health. Honey also contains antimicrobial properties, which have been harnessed for centuries in traditional medicine to treat wounds, soothe sore throats, and combat infections. In regions where clean water and reliable medicine were once hard to find, honey was a trusted ally, a healer and sustainer. But honey's value doesn't stop with its nutrition. It also holds deep economic significance. In ancient economies, honey was a treasured commodity, traded, gifted, stored as wealth. It didn't spoil, it traveled well, and it served multiple purposes: food, medicine, ritual. Even today, honey remains one of the few foods with both culinary and curative importance. It supports agricultural systems through pollination and provides income for rural communities. To describe a land as flowing with honey is to describe a place of enterprise and opportunity as much as health, a land where life could thrive in every sense. And then there's something less quantifiable, something spiritual, almost poetic about honey. It's a product of cooperation, of transformation, of unseen labor that results in a thing of wonder. Bees collect nectar from thousands of flowers, fly miles to return it to the hive, and then through quiet, alchemical process, it becomes honey. The process requires patience, precision, and community. The result is a food that needs no cooking, no alteration, no preservation. It is perfect as it is a rare thing in the natural world. In this way, honey doesn't just symbolize sweetness. It reflects the sacred idea of natural perfection, of grace that asks nothing in return. So when the Bible describes a promised land with honey at its heart, it's more than a pastoral image. It's an invitation into a different kind of life, one where survival is not the ceiling, but the floor. A life where nature provides not in bursts, but in rivers. A life where sweetness is not earned through suffering, but given in abundance. Honey in this context becomes more than food, it becomes theology, a symbol of how life should be, how peace and prosperity might look when the world is in balance. And in a way, that promise never really ended. Every spoonful of honey we enjoy today still carries some of that meaning, a reminder of the ancient longing for a place where life is whole. Whether it's drizzled over bread, mixed into tea, or simply tasted from the tip of a finger, honey remains a small, shining echo of a promised land, one that lives not just in geography, but in the human heart.